right, all right. Let me check the volume really quick. Let's see. All right, we are in business. Okay, cool. So today we have a deal in Buckeye, Arizona. This is a subject to deal, which means that we will be taking over the existing loan subject to the existing financing. This is different than assuming the loan. This is a subject to deal, which means that we are simply taking over the payments and making payments on behalf of the seller because the seller's name is still going to be on the loan. Now, this is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 square feet home, 2014. There's a 3-car garage. Good to know. Electric bill will be very low because of solar. That's what they're advertising. Okay, there's an 8-year balloon to exit the original loan, which means that the seller says, hey, I'll agree to the subto deal if you agree to pay off the loan in 8 years. Interesting. 3.5% fixed rate conventional. There's a solar lease for $168. That I don't know if that's going to be taken over sub 2. That's a little confusing. Assumable lease means that you might have to qualify with your credit to take over this payment. So just a heads up there. I'm not sure that means the same thing, but they did put assumable in there. So just something to be a heads up. Total entry fee is $40,000, and that includes the assignment fee. They're saying long-term rental is $2,500 and midterm rental will pay $3,500 to $4,000. All right, let's analyze this deal. So got the address. 21630 West Watkins Street. Let's see if I can get some photos. This is a older listing, I'm assuming, when they bought the place. Some carpet, that's probably fine. I'm going to assume that we'll set aside some money to paint, but I don't think I need to do any kitchen renovations. Bathroom looks fine. There's some carpet, but maybe you just clean it up. This is a pretty big house, so I'm going to assume that this is going to be very costly to replace all the flooring for a 3,000 square feet home. Okay, good to know. So I'll probably just set aside some money to paint this place. Now let's see what county this is in. This is in Maricopa County. So we're going to go to HUD FMR. We're going to look up for the small area FMRs like we typically do. And we're going to click on access to small area FMRs. From there, we're going to look up FY 2024 FMRs. This is in Arizona. We'll select Maricopa County. Once you come here, this is where you'll be able to get the fair market rents by zip code, by bedroom count, and it's in 85326. So 85326. Where am I? So a studio is right here. 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, 4 bed. A 4-bedroom maximum rent is $3,030. 3030. So I'm gonna write that down. 3030. And this was a 4-bedroom in 85326. 26. Boom. So now we have the fair market rents. Next thing we want to do is get the market rent. And I do this by going to the owner section, going to the market rent estimator. And then I'm going to plug in the address here. I'm going to have a 4-bedroom property. Oh, interesting. It says here for 25 units within a 0.53 mile radius. This is the number I'm focusing on here. The average rent is $2,096, 2096. So let's go ahead and write that down. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because my partner already knows how I underwrite my deals. So when I plug in all these numbers, they're already familiar with the origination and the sources of these numbers. So I want to put in 0.53, 0.53. Okay, great. So that gives that. All right, from that point onwards, let's see what we end up doing right here. So here is the area where you have to be a little bit more cautious. And that is every housing authority typically has what they call is a rent reasonableness test. Okay. Now, even though the rent ceiling here is $3,030, they are going to assume that the market rent is $2,096. So I'm only going to underwrite using $2,100 as the rent because they're not going to allow you to charge more rent to a resident or a tenant simply because they're a voucher holder. You can't charge that much more above market rent. Maybe you get 100, $200 over it, but to get $800 over it, slim chances. Unless you can justify like, hey, maybe you're in a community, maybe there's more amenities, maybe you include utilities, et cetera, et cetera. But all these things you kind of really have to take into account. And it's likely that they will not give you the full FMR if the market rent, quote unquote, that they're seeing on affordablehousing.com is that much lower. All right. So let's go ahead and plug in the rest of these numbers for this sub-2 deal. Great. Let's shrink this and I'll expand my Excel just because for those of you on Instagram, you can always reach out and look at youtube.com/at Kent_HE and you can see the full screen version. All right, purchase price $448,000. There is a entry fee for $40,000, which includes the assignment. So I'm going to leave the assignment here blank. The sub-2 mortgage loan is $408,000, $408,000. The interest rate is 3.5, great interest rate. I'm going to assume this was closed in December 9, 2021. December 9, 2021. I'm plugging that day right there. The income rent for this property is going to be, like I said earlier, $2,100. $2,100. All right. And based off of that, I already know this is not a deal, but we're going to keep on going, right? But going forward for your own deals, it's very important that you decide what your criteria is so you can decide when and at what point do you stop analyzing a deal because you know it's not a deal. And here, because the total PITI, including the solar, is $2,535, I'm going to come to the property tax section, $2,535, and I'm going to subtract the principal. I'm going to subtract the interest, and that's going to equal to $702. And I'm going to add another $35 for insurance expenses because I expect that a investment property is going to cost me more insurance and premium because technically it's usually a higher risk asset. So there should be additional numbers there. All right. Next thing I want to do is I got my tax and insurance, my PITI. I got 10% for my war chest for my maintenance, 8% for property management, and 3% for vacancy. This results in a whopping negative $911, $2,100. This is negative $911. Cash and cash return is 10.7%, negative 10%, excuse me, negative 10.7 cash and cash return. And that was assuming a purchase price of $448,000. So even though I haven't even gone through the rehab calculator, which I can probably plug in here just simply as the square footage for the property, 3241, that will be my only renovation plus some cleanup of the outside items while I get it rented. It's that changed my cash and cash return to negative 10.4, but you can tell that this is just simply not even close to being a deal because of the current rent and the PITI. Even if you want to go to the best case scenario at $3,000, this is still a negative $200 cash flow because why? Because it's still a negative 2.29% because after you deduct for expenses, which I'm taking out 10% every single month from the rent, from maintenance and CapEx, that's how I am underwriting this deal. And that's why I am saying that this is not a deal for me personally. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments. I'm simply just documenting what I'm doing every single day. I hope all of you will consider just getting into practice. All it takes is 18 minutes a day to analyze a deal. And if you do it for 365 days, boom, you will probably be better than 95% of the world at underwriting deals for this type of asset class. So again, this is not investment advice. This is not solicitation for any investments. I hope you all can learn from this. I hope you all will take action and analyze deals alongside with me and stay consistent with me. Thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Without people like you, I would have never had the home I grew up in. So thank you so much for caring about it. There's a way for us to get these investments and look for cash flow opportunities so that it's a self-sustainable mission. So thank you so much again for all your time. I'll be back here again tomorrow. We've been analyzing these deals for, today's a 96th day. So we're almost there to my 100-day goal. But chances are I'm just going to keep on going after this because this habit has been formed And now it's super easy to just go live every single day and analyze the deal alongside people that you really care about. So thank you so much. We are out, and I will be back here again tomorrow.